Dun, 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 dun.
I did debate, whether or not they were going to release this trailer for Stranger Things 4 Volume 2. Because, I thought at the time of the sneak peek debuted, at the end of the series, sort of put it like as a goal marker. If you finish your little prize, you finished the first 9 hours of the season, here's a little sneak peek for what's coming, mark your calendars now, you're going to have a bit of a while to wait, depending on how you watched it. Maybe you binged it, or maybe you kind of parsed out the episodes like I did. But again, Stranger Things I don't think needs another trailer, especially after the first part of the fourth season, because this fourth season is just exceptional. But we have a new one anyway, so either way, we can get excited at what's coming. And I think as far as, Stranger Things 4 is concerned, it was a great show to return to. Again, I've missed it. I think most of us have. I'm still not completely comfortable being on Netflix because, again, of the whole cuties thing. I did boycott them for a while, but I'm pretty open about that. But Stranger Things 4 has been just an exemplary show from a writing standpoint. The past couple seasons, as I stated, previously with covering the sneak peek, my viewing experience watching this season, because it's not been around for so long, or in terms of the new updates on the show, I went back and I rewatched Stranger Things 1, 2, and 3 in preparation of watching Stranger Things 4. And I binged those pretty quickly. With finishing Stranger Things 3, I parsed out the episodes of Stranger Things 4. I think that helped, number one, because of the runtime and the supersizing of the episodes, but I was also on vacation, so it's just easier with the circumstances. But it really gave me time to digest how good the season was. And actually, very recently, I watched it a second time. Love this season. It's so well written. And it's funny to me, again, in comparison to other established franchises, to see a show. At the time, as I stated, and probably most people are aware of this, there were other concurrent shows happening on streaming, notably on, Disney. Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan specifically. Miss Marvel, I'm going to kind of throw away from the conversation because I don't think necessarily that this is a good comparable here. Even though I will say, and again, maybe I'm the minority in terms of opinion on this, but I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but I've really enjoyed the show. It's much more consistent than its competitor. Not Stranger Things, we're talking about a different one, but actually, the show is entertaining. It's funny, it's enjoyable, I think it's better written than Obi-Wan. It's funny to me, and I know Star Wars, again, not going to go on a tangent here because I've said enough as it is in other videos, but it's in a dire state these days in terms of reputation, largely of their own making. But it's funny to me to watch a brand that's been around for about nearly 50 years, a little shy of that, be not just, put out a very mediocre, in my opinion, show, just to sum it up lightly, with some, very, 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 very minor good moments, but overall just being a real boring mess and a slog to get through. That's my opinion of Obi-Wan. It's been a real bummer of a trip. It's funny to me to watch a show that has not been around for that long, in comparison to Star Wars, 7 years-ish, by a major competitor, totally eviscerate the competition. I think it's partly because, again, Obi-Wan did not come to play as they should have. Even in my opinion, Miss Marvel is superior. But still, Stranger Things, I think it's at a higher tier. But this season, the directing, the pacing, the writing, the character respect, as I stated also as well, that is something that on Obi-Wan has been a big grievance of mine in regard to returning established characters. Stranger Things is so respectful to its cast, whether it be the old or new characters. The new characters are great. I love Eddie. Argyle's fun too. And even Chrissy. I understand why she had to die, but I really wish she were alive, because the chemistry between her and Eddie, I was like, she's just such a sweet, innocent character. And the way they depicted her, I'm assuming it was an eating disorder. I think that's kind of what they were implying in the bathroom scene. That's what her mother's comments at least alluded to. And just with Chrissy's own actions, I felt so bad for her, but the portrayal of that's how you be respectful in your writing to characters. It was so authentic and real in the way it was depicted. It was just it really shocked me of just how good this season is from the way it portrays its characters, where it be maybe their higher points, maybe even their lower points, like what Chrissy was experiencing. I really wish Chrissy were around, though. That did disappoint me. But again, even with the old characters and characters that are established at this point, I will say standouts for me, Millie Bobby Brown, that bullying storyline, I thought was excellently delivered. Hard to watch, but very well done. Sadie Sink, as Max, she really shined. The whole Vecna mind prison thing and her getting out in the way of musical therapy, I loved that. Especially since I use music as therapy too. So I'm starting a whole channel on that in the next year. But watching that being replicated by Stranger Things and how it was played out into the story, that was just excellent. And Sadie Sink, I did not realize how good of an actress as she is. She's been fine the past couple of seasons, but she's just incredible. And including as well, I would say Maya Hawke. As Robin. Maya Hawke is just a great actress, and every time I'm watching her, I have to tell you, have to do this double take of like, she's not Uma Thurman, even though she looks like her mother. But the scene in the Penthurst Hospital when the writers very intelligently wrote that line about, oh, I talked to my mother and she sees my compulsion to be so expressive and exuberant in the way that, she communicates it, just how she feels and what she's observing out of the world, that she talks a lot, right? And that's just a defining trait of the character, but to write it in as Robin, in the way that she says it, basically that it's a weakness as she sees it, but then to give her a scene in episode 4 for her to have her weakness be demonstrated as a strength, that is how you treat characters. Disney, that is why Obi-Wan is a pile of crap, because your characters are not well surfaced in the writing at all. And that's why Stranger Things, in my opinion, and granted, you talk about the other characters as well, but those are the characters that, to me, besides Erica as well, I wrote in Erica in there because I love her. This season really just shines from a writing standpoint. And it's just funny to me again to watch a show that is considerably younger in its emergence as an established franchise, completely eviscerate an established brand like Star Wars. I mean, even for the problems Star Wars has on its own accord, it shocks me just how good this season is. So, of course, I can't wait to watch the second half of the season. Again, it was left on quite the cliffhanger, too, of Vecna. Great villain. Great final scene. But that sneak peek did allude to the Mind Flayer, so he is coming back in the mix. At least that's what I'm assuming by that dust cloud. Without further ado, I'm going to pull this up. I mean, I could talk about all the characters. Those are just my standouts. But just big takeaway from that, the writing on the show is like next tier level good. And I've missed it in context of Stranger Things. Again, the past couple seasons, watching it back from Stranger Things Season 1, I think allows you to appreciate a lot more. And as I've seen from some images that have been put out there, that's what most people did. I'm not the only one. Did you kind of share that experience? Feel free to contribute that down below. But either way, new trailer. I'm going to cue this up and we can get excited for what the new stuff has to unveil. But again, coming off of Volume 1, I think we're all expecting a real hard hitter. And it's going to be, I'm sure, quite the viewing experience. Much longer, well, not much longer, but longer episodes, at least on the final one.
You're terribly frightened by what you've seen.
Is this going to be a flashback reel?
But I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, that's not. That's new. I did see some people commenting based on the photos that leaked out, like, oh, you spoiled, Nancy survived.
Hawkins will fall.
But, I like the tune they picked, too. That was great. Again, this show is so well done. Netflix really is like the premier service.
Not until he's taken.
So many emerging, but this show is just evidence of that. I mean, just to see how they explain like the redness compared to the blue. I don't know.
But I have this terrible feeling. It might not work out for us this time.
Now I just want you to watch.
This is gonna be a fun 4 hours-ish. I think that's the general time for the last 2 episodes. They're finally getting more of the episode. Oh, I guess the Demogorgon is still alive. I was gonna say, like, I saw the demo dog. I wonder if, like, was that supposed to be like the worlds are converging here? I don't know.
Your friends have lost.
There's a lot of red lighting like the real world. That's excellent. You know, the funny thing, I read this news headline while we were on vacation. I was still getting through the first couple seasons. I remember seeing a headline. I think it was from someone off of one of the news circuits, probably Fox. Was it? I think it was Janice Dean. She one of their pundits. But she put out this tweet. It was like, my son is enjoying 80s hits. I don't know, it was so funny. And people, I actually went to my iTunes store. I'm like, they're running up that hill. I forget the artist, but it's like it's top of the list. Where it's like, like I love how Stranger Things is bringing back, my first loves and 80s songs for my children. It's kind of a comical point, but to include that in the trailer, because it was so dominant, at least in the first part of the season, and Max's story, again, her arc was just beautiful. That strong character, really loved her. Some of the other characters are getting shortchanged, just in my opinion. At least I felt that kind of with Mike and Will, just a bit. But I understand, how many other characters. That's why I say this season was like near perfect. It really was. But there were some mistakes along the way. But So I'm sure they'll be enjoyable in the second half. I mean, I love Finn Wolfhard's great. Noah Schnapp, though, I really enjoy watching him. He's really talented in this show, too, even if maybe, again, there's just a lot of characters. But the second half looks great. I'm a bit disappointed, though. I did forget about this, because I was wondering about if this would come up in respect to some of the images that I was seeing pop up as promotionals. I was hoping, based on that 6th episode, because I think it's when the California season episodes dropped off in terms of storyline, because episode 7 was more centered around Vecna and 11 and some of the other characters. I wondered, though, if Susie was going to become a part of the group. Like, they left the door open, being like, okay, you're near the van of Argyle's pizza car. It's like, go with them. Go with them. I love Susie. And that whole ending, too, at her house was such a great scene. But, like, I love Susie as a character. Just have her go with the group. She has to meet Dusty Bun. You have to keep her on the show. It can't just be like, okay, we'll bring her one episode or another. I don't know. I don't see her anywhere here, at the very least. If I did, or if she did pop up, I missed her. But I'd like to see her. Well, there's actually not much of the California storyline here, the characters that were there to begin with. Maybe they're focusing on their characters less, and maybe they'll be more stressed in season 5. Either way, I hope Susie returns. But I do wonder, how far is this going to go? I mean, I understand we've still got the debacles with the Creel House and Vecna and all that, but, I mean, you've introduced the Mind Flayer. It looks like he's in Russia. It looks like he's here, locked up. So I wonder if that means, because we see this later with 11, I think that's 11, bald head, this red cloud, again, similar to what Stranger Things 3 had. Well, I guess maybe that could still be like in the, but there's other people in the background too. I wonder if maybe that's just in her mind, or if it's actually like the worlds are merging here. Now the Upside Down, maybe they've unleashed the Mind Flayer and that's what's happening. But I see that red lightning, so I wonder. Either way, at some point that the worlds have to be, like, the Mind Flayer is going to make a play, or Vecna is going to make a play to be in the world, quite literally, that every one of us are. But this looks good for Stranger Things. Strong second half. A lot of fun. The show it was so great in terms of the first couple episodes. Such an experience. I really can't wait to watch the future of it. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, again, this is going to be the first. It's kind of disappointing because you're like, well, this next season's going to be the end. This is what they've said. But there's going to be spin-offs. At least that's what they've been talking about developing. What are your guys' thoughts, though, with the first half of the season? And are you excited for the second half? And how did you watch it? Did you go with the binge model in terms of like going for this 4th season straight away? Or did you maybe parse it out? Or did you do what I did and perhaps go back and watch the past couple seasons? Because it's been years again with the show, and I wanted to be able to enjoy it from what was pre-established, what I could remember in terms of being such a great show, at least in its formative years, before I had to go on a hiatus, not of its own making. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. But as far as I'm concerned, first half was great, superior to maybe other shows on the air, that the second half I'm sure is going to more than deliver, because the writing for this show, again, that was really what I took away. And it's, along with that, the directing and the pacing, so much better in comparison to other shows like Obi-Wan. But this season it floored me with how good it was in the first 7 episodes. So these last 2, again, pretty long, supersized. I really can't wait to finish the show. Really can't. July 1st cannot get here any sooner. I'm just waiting. As soon as this debuts, I'm watching it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.